Hello, everybody. It's Will from Magic the Friendly Tavern. It's been a while since I did a video, but today I'd like to show you what I'm running in my free-to-play account, Best of 3 Traditional Standard on Magic the Gathering Arena. So I'm in Grixis. I'm playing Midrange, as the name of the deck implies. Here's my breakdown. I run very minimum creatures. I'm more of a spell heavy deck, and the reason mainly is for this mana form Hellkite. It's a 4 mana 4/4 flyer, and whenever I cast a non creature spell, I make an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X the amount of mana spent to cast the spell. Exile the token at the beginning of the next instep. So these don't stick around, but they can do massive amounts of damage if I can get a mana form Hellkite or two in play, and then cast, say, a sword, or an Omnixilis and an Infernal Grasp. You see where I'm going with this? And then they pin very well with this Fable of the Mirror Breaker's last ability, which is the second side, the Reflection of the Kiki-Jiki. You tap one and tap it, and create a token copy of another target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next instep. So I can make a copy of the mana form Hellkite with the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, and then cast my Sorin for 5 mana and make 2 4/4s plus a 4/4. That's 16 damage in the air right there. Just with 5 mana. It works really well if it comes together. Some people see it, because it's a 2-turn setup. Usually, it's hard to nail all together, really, but it does work to really extend the range of damage you can do with this deck normally. Like I said, we're creature light. So let's go over the rest of our creatures. So we also have Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder is really good because there is a lot of flying in this format. And this pairs, first, it does a few things. Decks that run small creatures that are just trying to smash into you early, this shuts them down being a 1/3. Even if they have flying, it still shuts them down as a 1/3. And those decks like to double spell. They like to play 2 or 3 creatures in a turn, which makes your Ledger Shredder bigger and lets you filter through your deck to find spells you need. So he's great. He can sometimes race some of the creatures. They get +1/+1 counters on them by getting his own counters. If I'm double spelling and they're double spelling, he can get pretty large. I just have to give up a little bit of action to get him there. So he's really good. And 2-drops are essential to this deck just to stop that onslaught of early aggression. And I'll show you how. The next thing we have is we have a 4 Knights of Dust Shadow. First, him being a 2/2 menace is great. Your opponents can't gain life. That's even better because it makes sure that your window stays open to do all the damage with the Mirror Wing Hellkite, and they're not at like 58 or something crazy. Especially and it shuts down the white life gain deck really hard, and the white green one. So it's really good against them. And I just prefer not to lose to that strategy, honestly. So I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it as a 4-of. You can split them between the sideboard and the front board if you're not really facing that matchup. So they're great if you can just sub them out for something else. I'll show you that in a minute when we get to the sideboard. I have one Tenacious Underdog in here because he's great against anti-creature strategies. Because he just keeps coming back. And he draws me a card every time he comes back. And yeah, it's doing me damage, but to get those last points of chip damage in, he's really good. In the matchups that he's really bad in, you just side him out. Sorry about that. It's cold season around where I'm from. Anyways, moving on, is Graveyard Trespasser. Is a 3 mana 3/3, which is great. He's good on curve. And he has ward discard a card. So if they want to get rid of him, they have to discard a card on top of the removal spell. So he's always good for at least a 2-for-1. That 2-for-1 always counts when you're trying to, attrition your opponent out like we are. That's kind of what we're doing, is forcing our opponent to run out of resources and then just coming in with a few threats. The fact that he can flip over to a 4-4 and then start removing cards to do extra damage, he's a damage machine that also deals with cards in the graveyard. So there's a few decks that are running cards in the graveyard matter strategies, and this helps against them immensely. Now, he could be in the sideboard for other spells if you want, but I just run him main deck because I needed more creatures, and he needed a slot somewhere into the list, and I just wasn't sure where to put him, so I just put him in the main. He comes out if he's not needed, but he's really useful and really gets sided out. Then when we talked about mana form, next we're going to talk about Shield the Apocalypse. I have 2 copies, and these are my legendary creatures. These do not work with the GQ Reflection. It's kind of a non-bow, but these creatures are fine, and the reason is because the first thing Shield does is a 4/5 4-mana Death Touch. It locks down combat if they don't fly. If they do fly, that's why I have a Tushi. Then when I draw a card, I gain 2 life, so I get to sit behind a wall of Shield if I've taken a lot of hits and recover a little bit and maybe gain some time. And it's also a clock on my opponent because whenever they draw a card, they lose 2 life. So if I've already got them down pretty low through my 2-drops and beats and stuff, then, it's counting them down and, it puts a clock on them. Especially if I can lock them out of gaining life. And I got them low, and they can't recover from this. So it's a clock. You can definitely split one between the front and the side if you want another creature in this slot. But right now I'm running 2 to test it out. I've been doing a lot of fiddling with this deck. I've been moving a lot of stuff around to see what works. And I'm telling you, Cheryl's pretty good. And I use it in conjunction with a few other anti-creature strategies, and I'll show you that in a minute when we get to the sideboard again. Now, Atushi locks down the sky. Atushi's the 4/4 does lock down the sky pretty well, but I don't really want to trade these off. These are my attack engines. Now, I can cast a spell on their turn and be able to make an illusion of block, which is really nice, but Atushi's there to give me advantage. Giving me either 3 treasure tokens or 2 cards off the top of my library in exchange for it allows me to set up large mana form Hellkite turns, or allows me to find my Hellkite, or have enough mana to cast all the spells that I have with my Hellkite on board to be able to aggress. It's really advantage. And if they're not trading it off, it's a source of 4 damage. It's another clock. But yeah, it's there to hold down the sky. And I wish I had another slot for another one somewhere in the list, but right now I'm just kind of low on it. But that might change in the future. Moving on to the non-creature spells. The first thing is we have 2 Essence Scatter, which counter target creature spell. Sometimes in our deck, we want to go slow and slow roll our opponent, and these are good for that. We can just leave it up and just get our mana in order. While we're getting our mana in order, because it takes a little bit, we can just leave this up and counter something nasty. It depends on if we want to be on the tap out plan or if we want to be on the relax plan. This gives us a little flexibility on that. And then we have the 2 negates to pair with the Essence Scatters. And of course we have running more in the sideboard to shore up against matches where Essence Scatter's bad. We'll grab them out. We'll leave in the negates, or if they're both bad, we'll pull them both. We have Infernal Grasp. Destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. 2 mana, destroy target creature. I'm running 2 of. It's a really good spell. But I'm only running 2 of them instead of the 4 of them to leave room for some other flexible options, such as Cathartic Pyre, which can do 3 to a damage to a creature or planeswalker, which is great. Especially the Planeswalker part, because usually I can hit a Planeswalker, but sometimes there's some residual loyalty counters and I need to get rid of them. So being that flexible there is good. I can also discard 2 cards and draw that many cards. So I lose a little bit of card advantage because it's you got to give up Karthik Pyre plus a couple of other cards to draw. But sometimes my deck needs to filter and filter hard. So having that flexibility is really good. So I like those. Next is Hero's Downfall. Again, the Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers kind of give us a little bit of a fit. We don't have enough creatures to keep them suppressed sometimes, and they can wall up, and they can be a real nuisance to us. So having that extra flexibility to either kill a creature or a Planeswalker in this deck is really good. So I'm running 2 of them in the main. Again, the Fable of the Mirror Breaker is just the best thing you can be doing in red and standard right now. First, it makes it 2/2 that whenever it attacks, and it creates a treasure token. That's awesome. Like it can be on offense, defense. Just creates another creature. So even though we're running low creatures, it won't feel like it because we have 4 of these. Next, that discard 2 cards, and then you can draw that many cards. Again, let's just filter through our deck to find what we need for an answer. Since we're so, bullet heavy. Then after that, you exile it and it becomes a reflection of Kiki Jiki, which makes a token copy of another non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. You can make a copy of the token you make off of the Fable of the Mirror Breaker on its 1, and then you can attack in and get 2 mana. 2 treasures to sack for mana. It's insane. It's really good. This is a really good card, and it's kind of the whole basis of the deck, again, with the Maniform Elkite. Next is Liliana of the Veil. I'm running 2 copies, and this is mainly something chunky to throw over my Maniform Elkite. She's really good against for anti-creature, because you can make them sacrifice a creature when she comes in, especially if it's got something on it like hexproof that I can't deal with. And then if I'm out of cards in hand, which happens sometimes, then I can start +1ing her to make opponents discard a card. Some opponents will also make the mistake of trying to fight Lily, and instead of hitting me, and I'll give her up really easily. I'll just go ahead and let them crash into her if that saves me a turn of taking damage. But she's decent in here, but she does get sided out a lot in matchups she's not really good in. Because that +1 on her kind of really hurts me too. And sometimes I just do not have a card I want to give up to her, so there's no way to get her higher on loyalty. And that does happen. Next is Omnix. Omnix is pretty good, actually. Casualty X. So if I sacrifice a creature, when I play this, I get 2 copies, and the other one is legendary, and it's got power, or it's got loyalty equal to the power of the creature. So I can make 2 Omnixilis, and then I can make each opponent lose 2 life unless they discard a card. And if I control a demon or devil, I gain 2 life. And his -2 is make a 1/1 devil creature token with whenever this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. So that's how I get a devil to gain the 2 life off the first ability. Usually I make a devil with the 1 Omnixilis, and then the copy, I'll go ahead and make them either lose 2 life or discard a card. And that keeps them losing cards in hand and allowing me to apply pressure to the board, because that 1/1 devil is worth 2 damage. And sometimes they're so low on life they do not want me to do it to their face, so it'll lock down combat. And the -7, target player draws 7 cards and loses 7 life. Well, if I'm making them lose 2 life and gaining 2 life, usually I have enough life to do the draw 7, lose 7. It's always plus. It's always a good upside. And then my main man, Soren, I've got 3 of these in here. 4 mana. You can +1 him to look at the top card of your library. You can reveal that card and put it in your hand. If you do, lose life equal to its mana value. I just go ahead and rip whatever's off the top. It allows me to draw 2 cards per turn. It's really good. And getting him to -7 is easy if you can protect him. Sometimes I'll lock down combat and just up my Soren to just finish him off with the deal 13 damage to any target and gain 13 life. The -2 is good if we're in a racing situation and I'm on the losing end. I'll go ahead and have him plussed up a couple of times and then just make a bunch of vampire tokens off of a flying and lifelink, and then use the lifelink to get back up to where I need to be. It's really flexible. It's really good. It's really good to cast with Mana Form Elkite or two to get some really good damage through. So that's why there's 3 of them. If I got to cut back on the main plan, I'll pull Sorens and Mana Form Elkites at the same time. Alright, let's talk about the sideboard. The first card we have is Spell Pierce. It's cheap, counters non-creature spell. Hush, babies. Sorry, I got dogs. Unless they got a counter, unless they pay 2. So this is good against decks that are trying to put in like 1 creature and then protect it with like slip out the back and stuff like that. You can stop that while your removal goes through. Then we have some Essence Scatter and another Essence Scatter if it's a creature heavy match and we want to be that we're just trying to counter that 1 creature they're trying to put down. This is the best option we have. Then we have some negates. Now these negates could become Spell Pierces to lower your curve, and that might be what happens. But for right now, I have negates, which are non-creature spells, because I have a lot of problems with the enchantment deck. The enchantment deck is what all this is for. And then I have some sweepers. I have all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If a creature would die this turn, exile it instead. This malicious malfunction. It's 3 for sorcery. This is against token decks and decks that flood the field with small creatures. And then I also have Vampire's Vengeance, which deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature to create a blood token. For the soldier deck and other decks that run out a whole bunch of small creatures, the red deck, this works really good against. Obviously, it doesn't work very well against a vampire deck, but hey, you can't win them all. That's why I have a split between Malicious Malfunction and Vampire's Vengeance. So I can get the best of both worlds. And then I have Burn Down the House, where those little small creatures stack up with their lords, and they get a little larger than 2s. So this one is 5 damage to each creature in Planeswalker. Or if I'm really ahead in combat and just really need to throw in the last points of damage, I can create 3 1/1 Red Devil creature tokens. And when a creature dies, it gains 1 damage to any target. It's really good. They also gain haste until end of turn. So it's really good. Really, really good. It's a rare. So if I had more rares, which, anybody that's free to play, you'll have mythics. You'll have mythic spots to spend, but you'll never have any rares. So it's hard to get cards like this for me. So if I could, I would have another one of these floating around the sideboard somewhere. Next, I have 3 Duresses. These 3 Duresses go in with the Spell Pierce usually to handle the decks that are just trying to protect their 1 creature. Because you can kill their creatures and they have a handful of useless spells. That's kind of the point. But you got to get that stuff out of their hand. The next thing I have against that's anti-creature against combat are 2 copies of Tainted Adversary. Sometimes those decks that just spit out 1/1s and stuff, you just drop a 2/3 Death Toucher in there, and they can't give up their lord. They can't give up their big creature, so they stop attacking with it. And you can hold back combat. You can hold back an army with this thing. And in the turns where you're not behind and needing to hold down the line, you can pay his 2 mana plus black. If you give him a +1/+1 counter, it makes them attackers. Because the zombies can't block, but they can do 2 damage. So that's 4 extra damage that comes off of him. So you can pay 5 for 7 damage off of this thing. Death Touch is 3 of it. It's decent. It's really good at answer when I need to go anti-creature. It's been working for me because I don't have the amount of sweepers I need, honestly. So that's kind of my trick. Next, we have the Unlicensed Hearse, which is exile 2 target creature cards from a single graveyard. Unlicensed Hearse power and toughness is equal to the number of cards exiled this way. This comes in with the Graveyard Trespasser, taking out probably an Underdog or a Death Shadow, so they have more control over the graveyard. This card is great. Sometimes if I just need a beater, this thing beats. This thing's really good. And I make a lot of 2/2, so it's not a problem to crew this thing. Then I have some more Heroes Downfalls in here. I have 2 more. The reason the Heroes Downfalls are in this are Planeswalkers. There's Ren and 6 really tears this up because it makes a reach creature. And you can tell we're trying to get in through the air. So we need extra cards like this to take care of Ren and 6 or the token it creates as well. There's some other other times I'll bring this in. It also helps that it's anti-creature when we have to go that route. Next on the list is going to be my lands. And here's my mana base. I have 1 abandoned Takenuma. The reason I have Takenuma is because I can get one of my planeswalkers or creatures back from my graveyard. It's really good. The next one, this puts 2/1/1 colors, creature tokens into play that gain haste. This allows me to make extra attackers when I need to speed up my clock. These are just as good as a swamp, just as good as a mountain. They're in 1 of, so I can't accidentally not be able to play one because of the legendary restriction. And if I had the blue one, which would be a rare, again, no rare slots, I would definitely play it in here over an island, but I do not have it. So next, we're going to talk about our color-producing lands. So this land enters the battlefield tapped unless I control 2 or more other lands. So sometimes I can make it come into play untapped. That's good enough. It's blue-black. Shivan Reef produces blue or red, but I got to take a point of damage. But it can also produce colorless, so it's not a big deal. This also 2 or more other lands, but it produces blue or red. Then I have produce red or black, take 1 damage. I need a lot of black in this deck. A lot of this deck is double black. Here. Here. A lot of this deck is double red. Here. My mana form. Here. Then I really do need blue early. Here, and here. So I'm trying to get as much color fixing as I can, as you can tell. Then I have a Xander's Lounge, which comes into play tap, but it produces all 3 of my colors. Or I can cycle this if I already have all my lands fixed. Then I'm running a 5/5/4 split of basic lands. And that's about it right there on the Decktech. So, like I said, this is my Grixis Midrange, and I have taken it from bronze all the way to platinum tier 4. We got 3 days left. So let's go grind the ladder a little bit. We are going to go ahead and play traditional standard rank, best of 3. This is the best way to play, in my opinion. Explorer, traditional Explorer, best of 3 ranked. That's a good way to play too. I like Explorer. I just haven't. I cloned this deck and put it in Explorer and thrown some Thought Seasons in it, but I haven't actually done anything special with it. We can keep this. We got no red, but we don't got no red to cast either, so it's all right. They're gonna play a lane into play tap off of this strange Evolving Wilds. Auto sacrifices. So now we do have an Atushi. So we're kind of looking for some red lands. Faithful Mending. That's interesting. We're up against a blue-white deck. They could be the Blessed Defiance. Yeah, it looks like they're on the one creature out plan. So we got Negate, but we're gonna go ahead and play a Knight of the Dust Shadow. Because before we can play that Negate, they're going to have to play that on their creature and then whatever they're trying to put on top of it. They already have a Homestead Courage in the graveyard. Okay. Yeah, they don't like that. No, can't gain life. This deck likes to gain a lot of life. Yeah, see, they're willing to burn a pretty good kill spell on that. Now we wish we had red. We're going to go ahead and run out this Graveyard Trespasser. And we're going to get rid of that Homestead Courage. Yeah, we don't like that. That's fine. That just gives me more chances to get something to hit with the Graveyard Trespasser. I'm fine with that. If they don't deal with this guy, I'll take him down soon enough. Come on, another black source or another red source. Blue source is dead card to us. Well, we can hold up a negate for a while, so we're not that bad. Swamp, that's good. We'll attack here. I don't care. We'll take a Swirly Mist. We'll just leave up our mana for right now. We ain't got to do nothing special. Look, we flipped our vampire to our werewolf too. That's what we don't want, but we'll let it resolve. We'll Lily it next turn. Unless they want to fight over the Lily. We're hoping to get another land. Hopefully a red land, at least, so we can maybe play Fable of the Mirror Breaker if this doesn't go through. But they got Counterspell up. We got, no, not anymore. Huh. I'm willing to take a chance on this. Hero's Downfall? Response? Shield counter. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. They're really going to hate sacrificing this next turn. Especially after they burn all that on it. Oh, we got Lily and Negate up. That's excellent. So, Lily, sacrifice that creature that you spent all that hard work on. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I know. Where's the creature at? There you go. No. Thank you. So yeah, without a creature, this deck is pretty much a handful of useless spells. And yeah, I've seen on my werewolf flipped on the turn that I can actually attack with. We're gonna go ahead and make them discard a card too. We're just gonna drop our Artushi. It's just not doing us any good right now. And them having like a whole bunch of stuff to stop my werewolf would really be bothersome. Secret of the Keys. That's cool because you're gonna need to cast that in response to this trigger, and you didn't. So thank you. There you go. Alrighty then. And we're going to pass her. Leave it up our negate. Yeah, let him draw a few cards. That's fine. Another island. There you go. Hold that in hand. It's not going to do us any good to put out another island. We are going to take... we'll take the other Worldly March. Just in case he's got anything. Allow him to put spells back in his hand. Plus we got to trigger target anyways. We're going to Lily. I want to dip this island. Like I said, it's a useless to us. Well, plus her up is not a bad thing to do. So any lands that are not red lands, that's what we're going to do with them. We're going to use them to plus our Lily. More threat, you know. Just put that pressure on them. Like that, we don't need that swamp either. That's not going to help us. So we'll swing in. We'll pick security bypass. That's fine. So discard a card. Discard the swamp. Just attrition them out. You know. Oh, they got rid of his. Why did they dip that Valor stance? Could have used that Valor stance on that. Yeah, they should have discarded a card to take out our 4/4, and we would have been reeling. Alrighty then. So we saw one creature that gets a lot of buffs. So we want Spell Pierce, we want Duresses, and we want this extra Essence Scatter. Stuff after the creature's on the field isn't as good, so we don't want these pirates in there. Tenacious Underdog is not going to be good against them. Lily is going to be good. Hero's Downfall is a little expensive. Obnix is going to be cut. And maybe we don't need all Duresses. We'll take 2 Duress. Oh, this hand's thin. I don't like this. But if I'm only getting into a worse hand, it's going to be bad. We'll keep because we have Suzukin. If we need to throw this out there, we can. Let's start with the red-blue land, and then we'll play Swamp, and we'll have all of our colors unlocked. Okay. We'll drop this Dust of the Night. Yep, Night of the Dust Shadow. We'll play Very Vandal. Okay, we're going to have to be very careful here. Nope, can't end that 1 life, sorry. Play that. Attack with our 2/2. Play Graveyard Trespasser. See if they counter it. They don't. That's great for us. 5 damage on the board. Alright, another Fairy Vandal. Would like to see some removal out of this deck, but I think I could pressure him in the pit. See what happens here. Alrighty then. Play out this mountain. Go ahead and swing. We're going to drop Sorin, and we're going to neg 2 Sorin, and we're going to put a 2/3 flyer in the air. If he manages to get his creatures bigger than that, it'll help us absorb some of the damage back. We might be able to race them. Especially since we're looking like a 4-card Monty over here. Alright, slip off the back on the token. They're just going to ignore it for this turn. Do they think they can take me? Do they? Do they? Or are they trying to get rid of my sword? Nope, can't gain life, I'm sorry. Yep, looks like they're just trying to get rid of the sword. Here we're probably just going to Suzukin, unless we draw something really, really good here, because we're under a lot of pressure. And Suzukin will give us 2 more damage into the onto the ground, which will be excellent. especially through that 2/1 blocker. So we will play. I think we'll just play Island. Then we have blue, blue, red, red, black, black. And then we're gonna, yeah, we're just gonna Suzakin. We'll cycle this, try to get some action here pretty soon, and just all attack, take out slip out of the back. You gotta untap, shore up. Oh, that's unlucky. Should have known something like that though. I'm happy with this. This outcome is acceptable to me. Yeah, so you had to leave one back on defense. Some removal would be very nice right now. If I could get it through, he's probably got counter backup now. Something other than lands, but at least I am still in this match. Oh, Virtuoso. That's scary. That's not going to help us. Let's start. Yeah. Going 5. Could put him to 3 or 4, but didn't think about it. Looks like they got this one, guys. But that's okay. We got another match. That's why best 2 out of 3. Alrighty there. I just lost power for a second, but I just lost power again. But we're still recording. It'll be okay. It's just a little rainy in my area like it is on the screen. That's kind of what it looks like outside right now. And just waiting for my internet to kick back in, I can imagine. Oh, man. Might have to call it into this one, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here, and it'll be a mystery if I ever won or lost this match. But, again, I'm Will from Magic the Friendly Tavern. This has been a showcase of my Grixis deck. Sorry for the anticlimax, but I have power issues, and I need to take care of this. So I'll be signing off. I just really want to put out a video today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good day. And as always, happy pack pulls and happy games.